Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone. This is Season 1, Episode 2. It's called One for the Angels. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So this episode, Mr. Death comes a-knocking and tells someone that he's dying at midnight, and he doesn't handle it very well.
Nope. I think this is the first episode of the Twilight Zone that we see Mr. Death, because I think Death comes back
Does
in
he?
other episodes too. It's probably not the same actor,
Okay, right, yeah.
but yeah.
Oh yeah, as a concept that Death showing up, yeah, I can see them going back to that at some point.
hmm
That makes sense. That does make sense.
So
So
yeah, kind of a milestone.
I guess, yeah. I guess it makes sense it's the first time because it is only episode 2. I imagine
Right.
there's going to be a lot of firsts in the next batch of episodes. So yeah, One for the Angels. We have this old school salesman, this pitchman, as the term that they use in the episode, who just stands with a suitcase and tries to sell his toys to people. He's got robots, he's got all these things, and he's good with kids. He goes home, and this character's there, this Mr. Death, and it becomes this dilemma because he kind of talks himself out of taking him, but the little girl that he knows and is friends with ends up getting hurt and is going to die instead. So it becomes this moral dilemma for him about no, take me instead, and he has to try and save the girl. That's just essentially the plot of the episode. So Tara, did you enjoy One for the Angels?
Yes, I did. I thought it was pretty great, actually. It seemed a little bit odd tonally because it's
Mm.
actually quite a dark subject, but the main guy who plays Lou is so, I don't know, I don't want to say goofy, but he's like instantly likable in almost a childlike way. He's got kind of
Hmm.
a funny voice. I actually recognized him from a role he played in Mary Poppins that was kind of similar, where he was just so jovial. It's almost like watching Santa Claus on screen.
I'm not gonna lie, I really thought you were gonna say Star Trek there. When you said I recognized him
No,
from, I was like, I was going to the episode of
believe it or
Star
not,
Trek.
I have seen more things in Star Trek.
Sometimes you really make it seem like you haven't, but that's. um, no, I enjoyed it for the most part. I think there's a couple of weird, I think it's weaker than the last episode, due to a couple of things. So the episode builds up, and he eventually has to stall Mr. Death by pitching, because earlier on because there's like 3 reasons why they might postpone a death, right? Because he's trying to argue with them. He's like,
hmm
hey, is there any way I can get out of this death at midnight? He's like, oh, there's three reasons, and I don't think they apply to you. And one of them, the third one that eventually they kind of land on, is that he has unfinished business. That there's just something he really needs to do before he dies. And he kind of comes up with this. Oh, I need to do like the One for the Angels, the pitch, the greatest pitch I've ever done, that convinces someone to buy something. Like it's this important thing. And he essentially does that to Mr. Death to stall him so that he doesn't make the midnight death of the girl, so she
Yeah,
doesn't
I think I
die.
know where you're going. The actual like pitch that's being done is it's kind of hard to take seriously, and the reaction
Yeah,
shots from Mr. Death are a little bit over the top. Like I think he starts sweating at one point because he wants to buy the stuff so bad.
yeah. Like what exactly? Like I just nothing about the pitch actually felt that important or big or special. And he's trying to sell them these ugly ties. Why does Mr. Death need a
Mhm.
tie? Why does Mr. Death have money? Why does he want things?
That's why the pitch was so good. He sold death on something he doesn't need. Well, I'll tell you why I like it, even for that stuff, because at the very end of it, when, obviously the girl gets to live,
Hmm.
I guess we're going to spoilers, right? It's okay.
Oh yeah, we're full spoilers. That's fine. We're
Sure,
good.
sure. So the girl gets to live because he's postponed Death's deadline of when he could take her soul. And I don't know, when they're walking away together, and he kind of does that thing like, all right, I'm ready to go up there. We are going up there, right? And Death gives him like, yeah, you made it. Don't worry about it. I think it was almost like Death was an angel that was sent to help him finish that um the unfinished business that he needed to do. Like that was the whole plan the whole time, was to get him to feel satisfied to leave his Earth.
Okay, that would explain the pitching scene and why that's so ridiculous
Mm.
and unbelievable.
So
Um,
long as Luke buys it.
yeah, as
That's
long
the
as Lou
important
buys it,
part.
yeah. Um,
Not really Mr. Death.
I'll tell you what I did like about it though. I liked Lou as an actor. I also liked Mr. Death. I liked how Mr. Death played it as he's like a businessman who's just kind of like,
Mhm.
and I will say I thought it was weird how Lou never questions why he's in his house, because he comes home in his
Yeah.
apartment, And
Oh, hey, stranger.
hey, stranger, I saw you outside. Why are you here? Are you a census taker? Hey, he let himself into your house. Maybe question that detail.
Yeah, I did really like the effect that they used, for the 50s where he kept disappearing and showing up in different parts of
Mm.
the apartment. I thought that was pretty effective for the effects that they had. It was a
Yeah,
neat way to do it.
I liked how he was always sitting in a chair. He was never like just like in different places. He was always like he was moving around the room, but it was always in that same pose in the chair. And
Hmm.
he's just sitting with his little notebook and he's just taking notes and he's just like, so you're Lou, so and so, you were born here, your parents are this and that. He's like, you've got it all written down there. Yeah, it's all very matter of
Hmm.
fact. And then he actually gets kind of annoyed at Lou at one point because Lou's not figured out who he is yet. And I'm like, you could just
Right,
tell him you're
right.
there for his death because he says your departure is at midnight. He's like, my departure? Where am I going? What's happening?
Yeah, but Lou's so likable. Like it's hard to blame him for anything like that.
I think what I like about his side of the story is that we meet him. He's with the kids at the start, and he's going to give them all ice cream after dinner. Although I do like present day mindset. I'm like, there's a guy in the street who all the kids go to
Yeah.
after dinner for ice cream. I'm like, that wouldn't fly these days. But
Yeah.
it's
It
very
was a different
genuine.
different time.
He's very sweet. The kids all like him. He gives them toys, even though he didn't sell any. He's like, hey, you can have some for free. He fixes the
Hmm.
toy for the girl. All that's really nice. And when he's confronted with death, he does try to talk himself out of it. He's like, no, oh, come on, I'm not ready to die. I've got so much more to do. And he tries to, in a fun way, but he does kind of try to weasel out of it. He's like, oh, what about this
Well,
reason?
he's a pitchman, right? So
Yeah,
you kind of have to expect him to try to pitch his way out of it, like try to sell death on why he should live.
yeah. And obviously, one of the things we talked about in the last episode is that because we've seen like other versions of this story done since then, right? And
Hmm.
obviously, as soon as this started, I'm like, he's going to succeed, but someone else is going to die instead, right? That's the classic thing.
Hmm.
Is that someone else is going to have to die to maintain the balance. And so you know where the story's going, and that's fine. It works well enough for what it is. But I
Yeah.
like that when it does turn out that the girl's hurt and he realizes the girl's. There's not even a moment of doubt. There's not even a moment
No,
of
right away he's just like, "Oh, this is not what I signed up for. Take me."
yeah.
Like I'm old, right? It was a real sweet moment from him, and a pretty dark turn for a show from the 50s, I
Yeah,
thought.
that is. Um, Notably, I mean, the one thing that did date it a little bit in terms of the actual her getting hit with the car is that there
Well, yeah,
was
there's like no blood or
yeah
she didn't look hurt at all.
no blood, no even sound effect. I don't think of like a car screeching or anything like that.
Yeah, there was a real like blood curdling scream, but I don't think it came from a little girl.
No, that came from a 55-year-old woman named Martha at a
Oh,
sound booth somewhere.
yeah, that's probably true.
But she's just lying there in front of the car, and that was like it feels a little bit almost like a play where they're just it's just pretend she's just lying in front of
Yeah.
the car. But
Yeah.
again, you forgive that because of the time period. But it
Mhm.
like, but no, I like his character. I like Mr. Death. I like their interaction. I think the actors have a good back and forth. That's probably my
Mhm.
favorite thing about the episode.
Did you
Um,
recognize Mr. Death?
I didn't. Should have I recognized him?
I know he's the mayor in Jaws. He's the mayor of Amity who wants to keep the beaches open.
I've clicked on him. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
that's the first
His,
photo of him is
his
from
it was his
Jaws.
voice. Like I remember hearing it and like I know that voice.
Son of a bitch. You're right.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn. Damn.
Hmm.
Damn. No, that's cool.
I don't know if I know of anything else, but
I feel like we're going to see that a lot in this show. Like it'll be an actor who's like a younger version of what we know them
there's going to be
from.
a lot of, hey, that guy.
Yeah, and sure, Shatner's easy because it was right around the same time as Star Trek. But like everyone else, it's going to be like,
Sure.
we saw them in something 30 years later. So you're like,
Hmm.
is
Well, that'll be
that
a fun game
person?
to play when we watch these. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know these people.
So that's our first. Maybe we'll have one next week. I don't know, but yeah. So I thought it was weaker in the first one. I think because the pitching itself just felt a little bit weird and far fetched. I don't.
Yeah, it was a bit campier than the first one.
Yeah, I don't dislike your interpretation though that it was the whole thing. It was just him being an angel the whole time, and the girl was never in danger. That like it was never a thing. It was just all about him, feeling like
Yeah,
he
all
succeeded.
about him feeling ready to go.
Because the opening of the episode, he's got a lot of energy, but he does fail to sell anything. He's on the street, and no one buys anything. He's just kind of talking to no one.
Hmm.
It almost feels like I mean, I cracked a joke about how these days, like a character like this who's nice to all these kids would be seen as creepy, right? I almost wonder if there is kind of like an element here of like he's kind of like one of the last of his kind. Like people like this don't necessarily exist
Mm-hmm.
that much anymore. So with him going, like, it's kind of the end of an era. I don't know. I was kind of getting.
Well, yeah, that's kind of deep, but I could see it
Hey, I try to be
for sure.
deep. This is Twilight Zone. I trust Rod Serling to have some subtext. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong.
you know, if we start reviewing a TV show by Michael Bay and I try to make it deep, you can by all means tell me I'm talking shit.
Well, that's a bit of a stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think Michael Bay was trying to say in this scene? The
Bigger
the
explosions.
the
More.
explosions
Bigger.
are cool,
Faster.
cars are cool, girls are hot, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Subtext.
Man, I miss Sterling.
What's the subtext of this woman wearing her bikini? Boobs. That's the subtext. The subtext is boobs.
Boobs are attractive. Deep.
Or are they? Oh, I must ponder. But that, I mean, the episodes is fun. I think, I think inherently I'm going to like the darker episodes, like the last one, a bit more than these more light-hearted. I mean, even though there's dark things going on, kind of, it's very
Yeah. Well,
light-hearted
the
in
twist
tone.
in the last one was more of a Twilight Zone twist, where this
Yeah,
is supernatural.
yeah. This is a bit more, I guess, hopeful. There's a kind of hopeful tone here that even in death, like, everything marred, and there's
Hmm.
something after the pearly gates, I suppose. So there's a
Hmm.
nice sentiment here, which I mean, I guess it's nice that Twilight Zone can be both soul crushingly like terrifying, not in like a
Hmm.
horror movie way, but in a like a oh god, we're like this, like we're all screwed kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna get some dark ones up ahead for sure.
Oh, I can't. There's one I know that's coming up. I don't know if it's this season or season two, where like everyone has to do what the kid says, and it's so dark, and I can't wait.
Oh, isn't that the one they use in the movie also?
It might be actually. I've not seen the movie, but it might be. But I
That's on the list.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for that one. Uh, but no, there you go. That's pretty much the episode. Delightful actors, not as solid I think as the first one, but
Hmm.
I think the two actors really sell it. I think if Lou wasn't as likable or if Mr. Death wasn't as intriguing,
Yeah.
it would probably
No,
fall
I'm with
apart.
you. The actors definitely sell it, especially Lou. He was really great.
So yeah,
Do you think you remember what's coming up next?
so Rod Serling at the end of the episode, he talks about a cowboy. We're getting a western episode, and it's let me just click to the next one to get the title again.
Swinging around a Colt 45 in the episode?
Mr. Denton on Doomsday. And I remember the title. I don't remember what's in the episode, but I do remember that title.
Yeah, it's not coming to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I remembered this episode actually when I was watching it.
yeah. It was because when I looked at the image last week and I saw him like blue, I was like, oh, I remember this one. Death, the Grim Reaper comes essentially is what I
Hmm.
remembered, which isn't exactly right, but it was in the ballpark. The town drunk in the Old West faces his past when fate lends a hand. That sounds kind of similar to this one actually, in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
If it's not death, but someone, a being from beyond comes and uh,
Yeah, another like It's a Wonderful Lifestyle.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see though. Maybe it just seems like that on the surface. Maybe it'll have a different tactic on it.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Well,
so,
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, that's the next episode. That's Mr. Denton on Dundee. But this has been One for the Angels, episode 2 of the Twilight Zone. So of course, let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments. You can like, subscribe, all that jazz. All that supports, as it does, of course, go over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month. You can also buy some merchandise if you wish. In the description, there's links to both the US and the UK store. And I guess on Twitter at mail_fuzz. Did I say that already? I may have said that already. Do you know what? There's so much to say in these outros that I just kind of go on autopilot, and like I could probably say everything 3 times and not realize I've done it.
Well, at least you don't have to promote any Twitter handle for me. It's one less thing.
That's true. I wasn't even going
The
to
day
mention
that I'm on Twitter is the day you know that we've entered the Twilight Zone.
that. Yeah, I'm at Wibble89. Should anyone wish to follow, I'm also on Letterboxd under that name. If you want to stalk my movie watching habits, you can do that. But that is us. That's been episode 2. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV in the Twilight Zone.